Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing for you a movie that was brought to the small screen at your very own home called, Bullet Train Explosion. This is the new 2025 Netflix Japanese film. It just came out, I believe, was it last night, just recently. And so before we get into how I feel about the movie, what I give it a 10 and stuff like that, I will give you a bit of context and, all of that good stuff I usually bring to the table of this channel. So for this movie, this is actually, if you didn't know this movie is a remake of a 1970s movie called Bullet Train, which I didn't even know about until I finished the movie, and then there was the reviews I wanted to see how people felt as well. Apparently it was based on another movie, so you don't really, when you watch the movie, right, and obviously I'm not going to spoil anything, but this is completely different, obviously, and it's definitely not the first kind of Bullet Train movie we have seen, so there's all of that. So what is this movie actually about? So pretty much the bare bones basics of this movie is that you've got this scenario where there's bullet trains, right, and there's a certain speed they have to go at, and they have to try and defuse a bomb on the train, and there's a lot of elements with a lot of characters. I think it's almost 2.5 hours long and stuff like that, and the reason why I say that this is not the first Bullet Train movie is because there was a Bullet Train movie a few years ago with Brad Pitt, which is really good. I had fun time with that in the cinema, so there's all of that. So how did I naturally feel about the movie? So with Bullet Train Explosion, I will be honest with you, this is another Netflix movie where you know where it's heading, you know how it's going to play out, and so you kind of go into this situation, you kind of realise, okay, this is kind of predictable, but you kind of have a fun time with it. You kind of just throw it on and you have a blast. So the first thing I will say is that the movie, I think the first half, I prefer the first half of the movie to the second half, and the reason why I say that is because while there's some repetitive gimmicks with some of the characters and all of that, there was a sense of things going on where I was like, this is interesting, this is entertaining enough, especially because I feel like the cinematography on the trains, the way they actually shot it, so it wasn't CGI trains or anything, it was like real trains in this place in Japan, so you could feel like the trains were moving by, and the explosions with the trains as well, they're actually pretty fun, and the way that it's shot and the explosions, they don't look horribly rendered or anything, so appreciated that on a film front. And there was really funny jokes in the movie. I really did like that about the movie, really funny jokes. I think that I would say there's really good acting, but I thought the acting was alright here. It wasn't like, Oscar worthy or just absolute peak cinema or anything like that. The actors did the job that they personally could deliver. So I will say that the other half of the movie, when the movie starts to reveal what's going on about this train and who was behind it and this and that and this and that, that's where the movie started to lose me. But you still got a payoff, you still got a sense of closure and then much needed payoff in the end. So I'm not going to say this movie was horrible, but I definitely recommend this movie if you just like to turn on a fun movie or whatever. And I was kind of expecting it to have a lot more action in the movie, but no, it's not really an action movie. It's more about characters making a choice. Based on their decisions, that's how it's going to play out. Based on their decisions, this is where it's going to go, sort of thing. So out of 10, I'd probably give this like a 6 or probably like a 7 out of 10. Because the movie, it eventually gets to a certain point where you do feel like you're entertained by the movie, and you just really had a good time with the film, and you knew where it was heading, like I said, and you knew what was happening, but you knew in the back of your mind, okay, let's just turn our brain off for a little moment here, let's just suspend our disbelief and have a good time. So there is all of that. That's probably how I would say about this movie. And it's not a movie I would have watched in the cinema. It really does have this kind of straight to streaming vibe to it. It's definitely not, I would say this movie, comparatively so, isn't really like as good as Frozen Hot Boys. That was another Netflix movie, but obviously this is a different production. This is a different thing, but absolutely still put a smile on my face, still entertained me. So that's my review of, Bullet Train Explosion. Hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for more like it, because this will not be the last video we do of 2025. So yeah, bye. Time to explode into another movie review.